Perfect. Hi, Megan. Congrats
Hi,
on this amazing project.
thank
So,
you.
my first question for you, what was the process and just how did you approach navigating the changes that need to be made from the book to bring it to life to television?
Yeah, so when Hulu brought me the book, they were very open about the fact that they kind of were open to the show being whatever, and it was more inspired by the book than necessarily a direct retelling, because the book is amazing, but structurally and format wise, it doesn't necessarily make it an easy translation onto screen. So I went away and I just really thought about what the emotional core of the book was, what hooked me, and trying to stay faithful to that, and then allowing the plot to grow out of that. So I went away and I figured out what the structure of the show would be, which characters I would add, who these characters are, and sort of the broad strokes of the first season, and then broader strokes of the rest of the season. And I pitched it to Hulu, and I was very honest about these things from the book I don't think work on the TV show. And then these things I think really work. And then I think we need to add these things in as well. And I wanted to just be really upfront about what version of the show I would make so that we end up all being on the same page and, before anyone signs on, knowing that we're making a show that we all want to be making.
For sure. And you mentioned adding new characters. Was there a specific inspiration for you, or how did you go about doing that?
Um, it was Well, Drew is a new character from the book, and we really wanted to flesh Wrigley out, and I think giving him a younger brother that he feels responsible for and that he loves and he's protective over really adds a layer to Wrigley, where he could have very easily just been, kind of the football jock, and we wanted to give him something more than that, more than his relationship with his guys and more than his romantic relationships. And so that was the main character that we added, but all of the characters sort of had the ensemble characters had to be built from scratch to some degree because they were really, really tiny in the book. We really focused, or the book really, really focused mostly on Lucy and Steven. So we got to really have fun just sort of creating these new versions of the ensemble characters.
That is amazing. And how do you know when a project like this is ready, complete, you don't have any changes or any more edits to make? Is it a gut feeling or what is that for you?
I mean, it always feels like you've some changes to make. Um, first of all, there are deadlines. So there's that. You can only make changes for so long until you're like, guys, this is what we got. We gotta hand it in. With the writing process, it's for me, it's like a gut feeling, it's intuitive. But when you think it's right as the writer, or when I'm in the edit and I think it's right, um, the studio doesn't necessarily think it's right, or the network, and you might get more notes and have, so it's very collaborative in that sense. And you're always, everyone's compromising. So yeah, it's but also, yeah, the deadline is, sometimes you run out of time to make changes, but no, we had a really fun process.
For sure. And I'm always curious, did you have a prop that you were able to take home or one that you would love to see and just have in your home and display somewhere?
So my stepdaughter's name is Marnie, and I named the school coffee shop Marnie's mug. And it comes on later in the season. And so we had all this, all this stuff from the coffee shop, like t-shirts that say Marnie's mug and mugs and stuff. So when we wrapped that set, I literally went and I just was like grabbing stuff to take home. So I stole a lot of that, but I did get permission to bring it home. That was the only thing I can think of. I mean, I stole like a lot of candy from craft services, but that was allowed. So,
And are there any other hidden gems viewers should be on the lookout for that they might not see first time watching through?
um, there's some musical choices that I think are little Easter eggs. I think when you watch the pilot and you're in the future, the scene in when they're all adults before we flash back, there's a lot there are a lot of little moments and little looks in that scene that you will understand more about by the end of the season.
Great. Well, I can't wait for everyone to see it. Thank you so much for chatting.